A house doesn't have to be old to be haunted. Sometimes the most inexplicable hauntings happen in the strangest places, like your front yard or your television set. Our guest today has terrifying ghost stories of some of the strangest ghosts we've ever heard of. Do you have a theory for who these ghosts are and where they come from? Listen to Katharine's stories today on Homespun Haints. Hello, Hainted Loves. Welcome to Homespun Haints. I'm Becky.
And I'm Diana.
And today on the show, we are thrilled to bring on somebody that we met through our Patreon. You are going to love these stories. We are going to be talking to Katharine, and she is so haunted. And some of the things that she has seen will blow your mind. You're going to find it quite intriguing. I cannot wait to share these stories. There's a lot of them, and they are creepy with a capital K.
You're showing your country roots.
So, Diana, when we were recording this, because you guys might be able to tell that we kind of record this stuff in sections. It's not just this miraculous thing where an episode just shoots out of thin air.
Or any other orifice, really.
Yeah, it does not just come out of our asses. It may come out of our mouths. Other flesh windows. Sometimes it oozes out of our eyes. That is weird.
That's never pleasant. It's always hard to get it back in.
You never want to put eye goop back in.
That's why it's out there in the world.
Just let it go. Just let it go. Kiss that goodbye. So anyway, we were recording this interview earlier, and Diana had to leave very suddenly.
For extremely paranormal reasons.
All I know is we had finished the interview. I was saying thank you and goodbye. We were both doing that to our guest. And then we both saw Diana just tapping her headphones like she couldn't hear. And then she was mouthing things, but we couldn't hear what she was saying. And then this look of horror, absolute horror, crossed her face. And then it just went blank and she was gone. It was so weird.
It was frightening, Becky.
Yeah, and then you called me. A few minutes later, you're like, oh my God, the scariest thing just happened to me. So do tell us what that was.
Oh, goodness. So from my point of view, I was saying goodbye to our guest, Katharine, because we had a fun conversation. So I just wanted to chat with her a little bit and say thank you and say goodbye. And then as we were chatting, I noticed that my mouse pointer was slowly, but definitely moving across my screen. I'm on a Windows laptop. Nothing's touching my mouse pad, my trackpad. Nobody's here. Nothing's here. There's nothing here to touch my computer. And it's moving. And then it started moving up, not just across. And I'm like, well, this isn't just a technology glitch. What's going on? So I wiggle the trackpad and everything goes back to normal for a second. And then my mouse starts going crazy and going all over the screen, clicking on random items.
Ooh.
And closing and opening random programs.
Possessed computer.
And then close me out.
They say AI is not taking over the world.
Right? AI is not going to take over, or is it? It seems to have already taken over here. I was very, very frightened by the fact that my computer was suddenly clicking on things as though it had a mind of its own. I didn't know what was going on. I thought my computer, is it a hacking thing? What's going on? Why is it moving on its own and clicking on things and closing things and opening things? And eventually it closed out of the window that I was recording in.
We just lost you, like, poof. But yeah, we saw the look of horror first.
It was terrifying. I was alone in the house. And then I heard footsteps. And so I said, Amber? No response. I said, Amber? Again, no response, but the footsteps are coming closer. And they're coming closer. And they're coming closer. Still no response.
Uh-huh.
But then...
I heard the creaking.
You can hear the creaking all the way from Georgia. I know, my house is a creaky, creaky house. But yeah, it was Amber. She peeked her head around the corner.
Oh.
And I said, my computer just did something really, really weird. And she looks at me like, what the hell are you talking about? Really weird. I So the mouse started moving all over the place, and she goes, "Oh." I said, "Are you touching my mouse?" And she said, "Oh, yes, I've just packed it." 'Cause we're leaving the house to house sit for a little bit. So she packed up my mouse for me. I said, "Next, could you turn it off before you pack it?"
So you were calling out to her and she wasn't responding because she was trying to be quiet because she knew you were recording.
She knew I was recording, so she's trying to be silent.
But you can't record anymore because she's trying to be quiet and she packed the mouse.
And she closed my
a
recording window.
Closed the recording window.
No plan is
Oh,
perfect.
well.
So that was very weird. And then when I finally reopened the recording window, everybody was gone. And then my computer suddenly wouldn't allow me to click on anything. And I had to reboot the whole thing and update it. Very strange. So still weird. I have no idea what the ghost clicked on during that whole storm of craziness.
It may be the ghost or it just may be computers. My husband, who works in IT, told me when we first started dating, he said, you know that definition of insanity where if you keep trying to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, that's the definition of insanity? He said, that's also the definition of IT and working with computers, because you'll do the exact same thing over and over again and get a different result each time. Because as much as we know about them, there's so many variables with computers that just weird shit happens all the time.
That's true.
And we do get some stories here on the show that we have to reject because people say, oh, this weird thing happened. I'll be like, that is a glitch. That's caused by this or that, or this programming bug. So if you get random text messages or emails or your mouse moving on its own, it's probably not a ghost. You're probably being hacked, which is far worse.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Definitely. After my mind said ghost, of course.
After your mind said ghost. Yes. I love it. That's the first thing we jump to. Ghost.
Yeah, always.
Well, Diana, I am glad that your computer isn't haunted.
I am glad that my computer isn't hacked. That I know of.
Well, it is a PC, so.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You never know. It's kind of hard to tell until everything hits the fan. Yeah.
So what would be the differences between ghost versus being hacked?
The differences, ghosts don't have that many consequences outside of just personal space issues like illness or discomfort or fear or feeling weird. Ghosts really rarely take your keystroke information and steal your private data and intercept your emails and your credit card payments. I've never had anybody give us a haunting story about how a ghost intercepted their credit card information and bought cruise tickets to Alaska.
Ghosts are not very technologically advanced.
They're not. We already know that. We made a whole YouTube video about that.
If for some reason a ghost does intercept your credit card, I don't know what a ghost would buy anyway, like a new sheet. Your Amazon purchases suddenly run up and you see a lot of new sheets, different patterns,
different colors.
I didn't order that. Yeah.
Some scissors to cut eye holes. If you sign into Amazon and there's an EMF meter on its way and a ghost box, they just want to chat.
If your mouse is going haywire over your computer screen and randomly clicking on things that don't make any sense, if it reminds you of one of your great-grandparents trying to use email, then probably a ghost. Yes. Anything else, shut down your computer and call your IT guy. Mm-hmm. Or see if your spouse is packing your mouse. We do want to give a shout out on our Patreon because this is how we met our guest. She's on our Patreon. She happened to comment on one of our posts that she had some personal stories. And I was like, aha, we love to get guests from our Patreon to come on the show. So if you really want to appear on our show and talk to us, that is kind of a fast track.
It is, yes.
Is to get on our Patreon. We've had a lot of our patrons come on our show.
That's right. We promote from within.
So if you're interested in checking out our Patreon, please do so at patreon.com/homespunheats, where you can get this and all episodes ad-free, as well as tons of bonus content.
And if you're not interested, that's fine. No hard feelings. But you will have to enjoy this commercial.
Today on the show, we are so thrilled to bring on Katharine. We actually met her through our Patreon. She's one of our wonderful patrons. She's been with us since 2022, and she happened to comment on one of our posts that she had a lot of personal ghost stories. And of course, then I was like, oh,
Yes, you have to be careful about what you tell us.
I was like, please come on the show because we absolutely love talking to our patrons on this show. You guys make fabulous guests because you already know what we're all about and you already have the inside scoop about all of our other content as well. We're excited to meet you face to face, Katharine, and to hear some of your stories. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm actually really thrilled to be here.
You live out in the Bay Area, which we know is a very haunted area. A lot of people don't think about California as being super haunted, but it is. There's so much history out that way. You said you had a lot of experiences.
So, I have lived in California for the entirety of my life. I moved into my family's quote unquote new house when I was like kindergarten or first grade. And I was unfortunately one of those very small, creepy children. And my parents walked me into this new house, giving me the tour with my sister. We walk into the master bedroom. I look at whichever parent and go, has anyone died in here?
Uh-oh.
I don't remember seeing anything. I don't remember feeling anything, but I give my parents all the credit in the world for not putting me up for adoption right there.
And this was after they already bought the house, so it was too late.
Oh, yeah. This was after they'd already bought the house. They'd already moved in all of our stuff. And I'm just like, has anyone
Oh.
died in here?
See, always bring your kids to the house before you sign the papers. You never know. Your kids and your dog and your cat, because they'll know before you do. They're the canaries in the family. So you don't remember what it was that made you say that, but your parents responded with grace and acceptance?
Yes, whichever parent it was. I don't remember which one. Like, no, all of the previous owners are still alive. This is our house now, which in retrospect, pretty solid way to handle that.
But let me guess, you encountered some things in that house anyway.
Oh, yeah. My parents love antiques. My dad has like a museum quality collection of those wax seals that have been used historically to sign documents and things like that.
Ooh, that's cool. That's an
Uh-huh.
interesting collection. Mine collects antique cylinder records and phonographs.
That's
So
cool
that
too.
takes up a lot of damn space.
The seals don't take up that much space, but yeah,
Definitely better collection. Yeah.
things really started to kick off. I was probably in early high school. My mom thought she was doing something excellent in buying dad a new seal for his collection. There was something on that seal.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know which seal she brought in, but the energy got real funky in the house. The first thing, this is going to be a spooky bathroom story.
You know, we're all about
I've
that.
got several spooky bathroom stories. So I had rolled out of the bed. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, shuffling my ass to the bathroom because I need a drink of water, use the bathroom, all that. I open the door and there is a small girl in the bathroom, kneeling on the toilet, looking into my belongings bin where all my makeup and stuff was.
Oh.
Whoa!
I had just opened the door and turned on the light, and she was there, and I'm like, oh no. So I turn on the light, I stare at her for a hot second, and then she just disappears. And I'm just like, what?
Oh no.
Did she acknowledge you?
No, not at all.
But she was interacting with your stuff.
Yeah, she was looking through my stuff. I don't know what she was looking for at like drugstore makeup, some hair bands. 14, guys. There's not a whole lot in there.
Little girls are sometimes fascinated with makeup. It doesn't matter how cheap it is.
True.
Could you tell like what era she was from by her clothing or anything like that?
No, that was the first time I saw her, though. She's reoccurring. I used to see her all the time. The last time I saw her was only probably 2 years ago.
She's been around for a little while.
hmm
What else has she done with you?
We have a hallway upstairs. I was walking up the stairs. She popped her head out from around the corner, scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then just disappeared. Mostly it's just mischievous little kid things like that. Like I go to turn off the light in my room as I'm getting ready to go to bed and she's just standing there. I'm just like, oh God.
Oh my
Turn off the
goodness.
light because I was in the process of pulling the chain to turn off the light when I saw her. And I quickly turned it back on. She's not there.
So has she followed you from place to place?
No. Thank God. No, she's only in my parents' house. She's there with whatever else is there, including my grandfather from my dad's side. He was probably the first one I ever actually saw. I was coming downstairs to talk to my parents about something, and I just saw this man in a sweater round the corner. I'm like, wait a minute. There's no one here other than me and my parents and my sister. Not an old guy who wears a sweater. And we have a picture of him somewhere in that sweater.
Had you seen the picture before you saw him?
Yes.
Oh, so you know who he was.
Yeah. Like I recognize the sweater. She's like, "Sir, you've been dead since I was 2."
Did you talk to him?
No, he just rounded the corner and disappeared, and I quickly followed him around the corner. No one there. My dad's working in his office.
Is he a regular presence?
Yes. We have a running joke that my grandfather hitchhiked into our house on the old television. We had one of those giant old cathode ray televisions, and you would touch the screen and it'd be all staticky, but it would change the channel by itself. When you'd go to turn it off, it would turn back on. And the running joke was always, oh, I guess he wasn't finished watching that, or he didn't like what you were watching, so he changed the channel on you.
So have your parents seen him, or have they just seen interactions with him with the television?
I believe my dad has seen him since he tends to stick around the area where my dad's office is. And my dad has some of his belongings in his office. So he mostly sticks around that area of the house. I don't think my mom has seen him. My sister has seen him though. She's had a similar experience of coming downstairs and there's just been this dude. This is like, I know you're not actually there, but you're there.
We're used to hearing two types of ghost stories. The ghost stories where the spirits of the departed will just play on a loop as though they've been recorded and they're just going through motions that they did in life, walking through walls as though they're not there, ignoring people, ignoring whatever's currently in the environment. And then the other side, of course, is intelligent hauntings where the spirits of the deceased will come back and speak with people or interact with people, point to the secret passageway behind the stairs, something like that. Do you feel like this was kind of in the middle between those two things?
Yeah, I think it is kind of in the middle. He doesn't seem to be going around and following a certain track of time. He had never been in that house when he was alive. He died long before we ever moved into that house. He wouldn't even know where it was. So that's why we make the joke that he must have hitchhiked in.
And have you all ever actually interacted with him, talked to him, or done anything where it looked like he knew that you were there other than changing the channels?
No, he's never really interacted. He's just like stood in a corner or walked around, and we've never seen him for more than a split second other than to know who it is.
You've had him and you've had the little girl,
Hmm.
and these are both recurring things. Has anybody else in your family seen the little girl?
I think my sister has seen her once or twice, but I think she and I are the only ones who have. My parents, when we've talked about spooky things in the house before, never mentioned her or brought up seeing her. The property the house is built on used to be an old school, so maybe she's hangover from the school.
Oh, I like that theory. That's exciting.
It was an elementary school, so there would have been kids about her age there. Yeah, like we found chunks of the yard out there just when you're trying to dig up things to plant some stuff.
Ooh, talk your parents into getting a pool. See what comes out from there.
So you've seen Grandpa and you've seen the little girl.
Hmm.
What other entities have you encountered in this house?
So the other thing I have seen in the house has actually been the lower part of a human body. So just like waisted down, just freaking legs.
Half body apparitions. They're not
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah,
uncommon
but it's
anymore.
the lower part. That's
Yeah,
weird.
it's not like someone's like upper body. It's the legs. It's the legs. It's so weird.
That's not as strange as the green foot, though, Becky.
That's
This is
true. There
true.
was, yeah,
It's just
random
one
green
single
foot.
green foot.
That was weird.
That's the
Yeah.
strangest half body apparition. Although I guess that would be
That's
like
it.
what, 10%? I don't remember
Yeah.
my burn chart very well, but
20th, a 20th.
a 20th.
Sure.
That's fun.
Okay.
So whose legs did you see? Do you know?
I have no idea. The legs, I woke up and was getting ready for work, and I have to get up for work at 4 in the morning. So it's dark, always. I had woken up with the worst case of the hiccups, and I was just annoyed. I had tried everything to get rid of these hiccups. I'm brushing my teeth, I rinse out my mouth, and just like, that's it. I'm tired of these. I swear to God, something is going to have to scare me in order to get rid of these. And then I think about it for a second. I'm like, I'm kidding. Don't do it. I don't actually mean it. And I say that part out loud after I had already said the first part. So it's just like, don't you dare. So I get all of my stuff ready for work. I leave the house. I walk across the street to my car. I look across the street as I'm closing my door, and I see these legs hauling ass across the yard at me towards my car.
Oh no.
Uh-huh. Needless to say, I got rid of those hiccups, and I just say loudly, I was kidding! Put the car in gear and take off.
Pair of legs hauling ass and not much else. I love
Yep,
that. That's
yep.
Was that the only time you saw the legs, or has this been a recurring thing?
The legs I've only seen one other time, but I'm not sure if it was actually the legs or just the shower there. The fan doesn't really work, so it gets very misty when you take a shower. And I saw movements, and I wasn't sure if it was the steam or if it was actually a thing. But it looked like something walked across the bathroom from right to left through the wall.
creepy.
Oh, man,
Very.
just legs.
Hmm.
I bet you saw legs.
I'm kind of thinking I did, but it's just like I told myself in the moment, no, it was just the steam, nothing to worry about here. We have to go to bed now.
Yeah, because you've never seen just random legs around there before. I mean, what a silly thing.
So weird. Yeah, no,
Is this at your current place or at your parents' house that you saw the legs?
that's all at my parents' house.
So there's something about that place. Man,
Yeah.
I wonder, maybe there's another half body apparition running around without its legs. I mean, we have to get them to meet,
They're on the neighbor's property or something.
but the legs can't find them because the legs don't have eyes. So they're like, where's my head?
They're just wandering around.
Sounds like this was an incredibly haunted house, but the hauntings seem pretty harmless. They're not bothering anybody specifically. They're not getting too up in your business. They're just
No.
hanging out, maybe going, hey, I wasn't done watching that show. Hey, what you got in this makeup bag? Has anyone ever tried to clear these entities from the house, tried to sage them out or ask them to go or find out if they have unfinished business or anything like that?
My dad has extreme allergies and has forbidden sage or anything smelly. So that hasn't happened yet. I've tried to tell things to like go, but as far as I know, everything's still there. But I haven't stayed over for any length of time in quite a while. So I don't know if it worked or it didn't, but given how things are, I have a feeling it hasn't worked. Probably if they ever go on an extended vacation where both of my parents are gone, we'll see about saging the house. But
Come on in and sage it. Well, remember, apparently you have to do an enormous pot lined with aluminum foil
Oh, yeah.
and an
Yeah,
entire
smoke
mound
it
of
out.
sage. But you live in California, so I'm certain you could find some sage somewhere.
oh yeah, readily available.
Do you have other stories?
Do you want to hear about my terrifying first apartment?
Oh, yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Okay, my terrifying first apartment in the Central Valley. I moved down to Central California in the Merced area to go to school with one of my best friends. We got a cheap ass apartment across from the JC and close to the university. And it was one of the most terrifying places I have ever lived. The apartment was great. The community was great. You could walk to school. You could walk to the grocery store. Fantastic. Whatever was in there was not good, though. One of the first nights I ever lived in that apartment, I woke up, rolled over, and saw three people standing at the foot of my bed.
Whew,
Hmm.
that's a lot.
Yeah, two ladies and a guy, just their silhouettes, and I just kind of stared at them. I was petrified.
I would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just three people standing at the foot of your bed, staring at you, and they felt angry.
And that was your
Oh.
very first night.
Pretty much, it was like the first or second night there. It oh,
See, I
good.
think you should be able to spend the night in an apartment before you sign the lease. Otherwise, you get stuck in this stuff for a year. It's not fair.
Yeah, no,
Somebody had to know that that was going on there.
somebody, but the people who had lived there before us, it was an older couple, and they had lived there for like 10 years. So I don't know if one of them had died and didn't want to leave or what.
You said it was three people,
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't explain the other two.
right?
And even then, we don't have any information on the previous tenants. They could have been alive and well and just wanted to move closer to family. I haven't the slightest idea what that was. That was a great start to essentially living on my own with one of my best friends.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh. So the horrifying apartment, that was the first story. Then for a particularly unpleasant spooky bathroom story. I was taking a shower, minding my own business, washing my hair, which at that point was much, much longer. My hair used to be about waist length, and then I cut it all off. I had all this hair, washing my hair, minding my business. Opened my eyes after I had washed out the shampoo, see something pressing its face against the glass of my shower door.
Oh my gosh.
I screamed. I threw open the shower door, grabbed my towel, ran down the hall, slammed the door to my bedroom, and quickly put on my clothes and left. Because it's like, no, we're not, no, we're not staying anywhere near that.
Tell us about the face. How much could you see?
It was like a shadow figure, so it was just black, but you could kind of see the arch of a eye socket, and then its mouth was open. It was just like, ah, yeah, I do not recommend. I was thinking about that last night as I was taking a shower, and I gave myself the willies.
Yeah.
Like, what if it happened again? I'm like, we're fine. We're fine. We don't live anywhere near there.
Do you think that was one of the three people?
I don't know. I think that might have been something else, which is so much worse.
How many ghosts? Right?
So
Like,
much worse.
what was this apartment? Was it a 18th century boarding house or something? 'Cause so
No,
many
it
things
was
coming in and
just
out.
like this random first floor little apartment. It was probably built in the 60s, not even that old.
Was the rent too good to be true? I mean,
No, it was market rate.
Somebody had to know.
Overcharging me. Somebody had to know. Charging me market rate for this haunted ass apartment. Feel ripped off.
did you at any point talk to the landlord and be like, we gotta talk?
No, we never talked to the landlord, but I did talk to my best friend, and she had seen and sensed things in there, so it wasn't just me.
Because she was your roommate.
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
Did she have the exact same experiences you had or something different?
So she thankfully didn't have the face pressed up against the shower, but she had seen something shadowy crawling on all fours down that hallway, which is
Oh.
Like a human on all four?
yeah, like a person.
Creepy.
Crab walking.
Really though, pretty much.
Why's it gotta be crab walking?
I don't know, it just makes it worse.
It just makes it so much worse.
Yes. And
Creepy.
then we would always hear if someone was washing dishes in the kitchen. Even if there were no dishes in the sink, you would hear rattling of plates, silverware, like someone was legit doing the dishes. That happened every day.
Did you ever leave dirty dishes out to see if they would wash them for you?
Yes and no.
Okay, I was gonna say it could almost like balance out all the creepiness if they do some housekeeping for you.
Yeah, no.
But
It was just the sound.
it's terrible. Anyway, wow. Okay, so we got the three creepy people watching you. Which that actually happened in one of my apartments the very first night.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like, oh, somebody new. Like they're all gathering around, like,
Yeah.
ooh, what are you doing
Ooh.
here? Why are you in my bed?
Ah.
Yes, yes. And then you got creepy crab walker
Mhm.
and the pervert face presser
Mhm.
and then the I don't know, some mom like figure washing the dishes every night.
I have a feeling the dishwasher was residual
Okay,
because it
that
didn't
makes
seem
sense.
to interact with anything. It just did the dishes, in theory,
God, what a horrible thing to be on loop. Can you
right?
imagine? Like, I gotta wash the dishes every night.
Well, but is that kind of haunting really conscious of what's going on? Are they suffering or is it just a recording?
Probably not. I don't know. It just seemed to always happen in either the mornings or the evenings. Someone would be washing the dishes.
On the regular, like clockwork, you could always time it like, oh, it's 6 p.m. There goes the dishes.
Not quite on that level, but it would happen every day.
Being not at the same time is actually a little creepier.
Yeah, yeah. Were there any other chores that you heard going on in the apartment? Like, I guess you can't really hear laundry being folded or ironed or.
Vacuuming.
No, nothing of that sort, but I did have an experience when I was sorting laundry.
Oh.
Oh,
So I had been in the middle of sorting laundry as like an early 20 something. I just tossed it on the couch to divide and sort and fold because it was a big enough space and I didn't feel like hauling it to my room. I'm partway through folding and sorting my clothes, and I'm like, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm going to change out of my pajamas and I'm going to go grab some food somewhere because I don't feel like cooking. I go out to my bedroom. I partially dress, get on bra, pants, that stuff. I'm like, ah, crap. The shirt I wanted is currently on the couch. Blinds are closed. I'm like, I'll just walk out there. No one's home. Walk out there in my bra and the rest of my clothes to grab my shirt. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a shadow up against a wall where a shadow cannot be cast due to the angle of the light. And it's the silhouette of a person standing there in the living room where my clothes are, where I'm currently topless. I'm just like, oh no. Throw on my
oh,
shirt, grab my keys and my wallet, run out the door. I think I locked the door, get in my car, drive to In N Out, and stay there until my roommate gets home from school.
so this is in the creepy apartment.
That was in the creepy apartment.
Maybe it was the same guy who was like got his face pressed against the window when he was
Honestly, it
showering.
could have been. It was roughly the same height.
He's got a thing for you.
Eh, no, thank you, sir.
So from then on, you just got dressed in the dark.
Pretty much. And strictly only in my room. Just nope, nope. I'm currently living in what you would think would be a super haunted area, but it's not. I live straight up next to a funeral home and a crematory, and then next to that are two cemeteries.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Ooh. Wow.
Two. One of the least haunted places I have ever lived. I've seen something walk across my living room once, but it was like passing through. I haven't seen anything since. I had one short rash of really bad nightmares, but I saged the apartment and it stopped. That's really been it. The place you would think is super haunted. No,
After living in two places that were regularly haunted, that shouldn't have been haunted, what made you say, oh yeah, I'm going to go live next to a funeral home, crematorium, and two cemeteries? That's going to be fine. Like, was the rent just really good?
I didn't pick this apartment. My roommate did. We're looking for apartments. He finds this apartment. It's a very nice remodeled apartment. Nothing really going on.
Great. I mean, I'm sure it's quite soothing to not have to worry about legs or faces or creepy crawly crab walkers.
Yeah. If it's something like in my current apartment where it's just passing through, I don't particularly mind. I don't particularly care. They're just on their way to somewhere else. But the real threatening stuff, I am not about that. If I had known about saging at that time when I was living in my previous apartment, you bet I would have been taking a giant pot of sage and setting off the smoke alarms. Because it's just like, oh no. No, no.
Do you think there's anything about you particularly that's attracting these spirits to you, or do you just unluckily end up in a bunch of haunted houses?
At this point, I think it might be too much of a coincidence just to be haunted houses, given the sheer amount of different things. If it was just like a couple of things, but not, it seems like an awful lot for just not having some sort of other component to it, if that makes any sense.
But at the same time, you don't just see ghosts all the time everywhere you go. It's mainly in homes that you've lived in.
I've also seen them at work.
Oh,
Yeah. So at the place where I work, I've seen things standing at the end of the tables I've been watering, just like watching me, and I've looked over thinking they're a customer. It's a shadow figure, not a customer. And I'm like, oh. Then I've heard my name being called regularly when I am alone at work. That's been happening a lot recently.
ooh, that's creepy.
And I've heard something whisper in my ear, just like, hey. And I'll turn around thinking there's one of my friends or coworkers coming in and playing a trick on me. Nope, not a single person around at all.
That happened to me this morning. So creepy.
Ugh, I'm
Woke
sorry.
me up.
Oh, man.
I was like, didn't have to wake up for another half hour. Something was like, hey, hey. I was like, damn you. Whatever
Rude.
that was. Rude.
I have actually had something wake me up. So I was running late. My alarm hadn't gone off. I'm dead asleep. Something like shook my bed. And I'm like, "Ugh." So I wake up. I look at my alarm. I'm like, oh, I'm super late. Throw my phone down, throw on clothes as quickly as possible, run out the door. I did manage to make it to work on time,
Wow.
Well, what a helpful ghost.
but barely. Yeah, that was fine. That was fine.
We'll take that kind of help. Thank you.
Helpful is fine.
Disembodied pants did get the hiccups gone.
Technically, yes.
So,
Not what I wanted, but technically, yes.
Careful what you wish for, eh?
Yeah, no kidding.
right? That is so weird.
You're telling me, dude.
I remember when my kids were taking the self-defense class, they were like really little, and they just brought out these like pants. They were like pants, just pants. They stuffed the pants, and they were teaching the kids how to elbow the pants in the groin if they got, they were like, go for the soft spot. What are we going for? And the kids would be like, nuts! Yes!
Yes!
I mean, yeah.
These kids are like 5 years old and they're teaching them how to elbow. All I can think of is when you talk about these disembodied legs, I just think of those pants. Those like big man pants, like just running across the yard.
But really, it was like adult man-sized pants, so you're not far off. Yeah.
Well, Catherine, those are some amazing stories.
And let us know if you sage your parents' house, how that goes.
Yes, I gotta wait for them to actually go on vacation for that one.
Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. This has been such a delight to get to know you and to hear your terrifying stories. Those were bizarre and freaky,
Yeah.
which is what we love. I'm still thinking about those pants and the creepy crawly guy. Super creepy. Please keep us informed if more hauntings occur in the future. We're all ears. We have ears because we have the upper parts of our bodies, not just pants.
Conveniently.
Yes. So thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
No problem at all. It's been really nice talking to you both.
Thank you. And listeners, what do you think? What are the legs? And have you seen a half-body apparition? Or what's your favorite percentage of an apparition to view? What percentage do you have to get to have a spooky day?
Homespun Haints is hosted by Becky Kielimnik and Diana Doty, and produced by Homespun Haints Media LLC. Editing and music by Becky Kielimnik. Show notes by Diana Doty. If you have a ghost story and you'd like to be considered as a guest for this podcast, please visit our website at homespunhaints.com/submit.